Parents, brothers and sisters, grandparents, guardians, and you, the great class of 2017, allow me to join with the others in welcoming you to this campus and to this day. To the class of 2017, I met many of you last year over several weekends on this campus and in other cities, and I've been waiting for you. And for reasons to be explained shortly, we've all been waiting for you. So there are many things I want to say to you. But first, I need to say something to your parents and guardians, many of whom are here, many of whom are watching from other rooms, or watching online from Kenya or China or nearly 24 other nations. To the parents and guardians, thank you for bringing us your sons and daughters. You have brought us the future. Bringing your son or daughter to a college or university is an enormous and unbounded act of hope. It's also the exact physical expression of the word bittersweet. It must be nearly impossible for you not to be running the film of your son or daughter's childhood in your head right now. From the children you brought home from the hospital, to their personalities, to the young people they became with their ideas and passions. And now suddenly, you're about to leave them on a campus. They're college students now. How did that happen? To the students before me, take the emotional intensity of this moment, the hope, the anxiety, the excitement, the fear, the sheer anticipatory unknowingness of it all, and multiply that by 1,000. Then multiply it again. That might begin to give you a sense of the feeling that your parents are experiencing behind you right now. They have such huge dreams for you, and that's what's getting them through this day. This faculty and this administration recognize, acknowledges, and are inspired by the hopes and dreams you have for your sons and daughters. We are joined with you because of it. We will honor it as we are honored by it. Hope for your children is a form of prayer. We will take care of them. There will be moments of challenges for them and doubt, but they will not be alone in their challenges. They will have the wisdom of this faculty, the concern of this administration, and the hopes of this president. So know that this is a good day. And now, I want to speak directly to this class, to the talented, talented class of 2017. By almost every possible measure, whether we look at SAT scores, ACT scores, grade point averages, class ranks, high school achievements, you might very well be the most talented group of students ever assembled on this campus as a class. That is why we've been waiting for you. And given your talents, you would think you wouldn't need advice today, from me or from anyone. But let's face it, you've been trapped passengers on the advice train for well over a year. First, it was all that advice about where you might think about applying to school. And then it was all that advice about which college or university you should attend. Why, even today, all day, I suspect you've received a whole lot of additional advice. Advice about where your lamps should go, and where you should hang your shirts, and who you should be friends with, and how often you should do your laundry, and what you should eat, and when you should eat, and when you should sleep, and when you should wake up. And what you wear to class on the first day? And what you wear to class on the second day if the first day doesn't go so well? And on and on. Remember, they're having a hard time, so just go with it. So just arrange the room in whatever way they tell you to right now, okay? But don't clap, parents, because literally by tomorrow you can just rearrange it. It doesn't matter at all, really. But as you enter college, I think the strangest things about all the advice you get is how contradictory it all is. On the one hand, you receive a great deal of advice about using this time in college to explore widely and freely. This is the advice about following your heart. This is the advice you get about taking classes in poetry and Shakespeare and foreign languages, all of which are very good classes to take, by the way. At the same time, you receive all this advice about how you should be diligently planful, how by the end of your sophomore year, you should have scored an early acceptance to medical school, an internship with Goldman Sachs, 2 varsity letters, a 3.8 grade point average, and enough community service to score yourself an entrance to a leading law school. So any advice I give you, and trust me, there are about 1 million things I want to say to you, probably runs the risk of falling into either one of these patterns, or both. but let me offer some advice. And among the things I want to say to you is my advice would be some of these things. Read widely and well. Learn to speak well. Recognize that education can provide you with many things, but most importantly, recognize that it can provide you with dignity and strength. Call your parents this year. But the advice I truly want to give you isn't really about you at all, the singular you. You've been thinking about yourself for months now, and of course you have, about who you are and who you'll become. And now you're thinking again like a song on repeat. Who am I? Is this my place? Do I fit in here? So the advice I want to give you today, right now, is to stop. Stop for a moment and let go of yourself. I want you to begin your education on this first day, and that means you have to get out of your own head. I'm asking you to do this because your ability to learn, your ability to see your future, your very happiness will depend exactly on your ability to get out of your own head and connect, to fall in love with something greater than yourself. I have never met a truly successful or happy person who is successful or happy alone, who made it all up from the contours of their own mind. The mad, solitary genius is an anomaly. Great writers have great editors. Great musicians have great teachers. Scientists, it has long been said, because it's true, stand on the shoulders of all the scientists who went before them. Great ideas become greater when they're passed from one person to another. When you let go of yourself, you allow for the possibility of a productive humility, and you allow for the possibility of awe. It allows you to stand before a work of art and be stunned by its power. It allows you to read history and be swept up by the past. It allows you to move past the boundaries of you. It allows the world to be big, massively big, and surprising. When I was in 5th grade, I had a teacher who, on Fridays, would stop the normal schedule of classes, and she'd lower the blinds a bit, and she'd read books to us. After a few weeks, she let us take turns reading to each other. We ended up reading the old English epic poem Beowulf that year. And on those Friday afternoons, we weren't 5th graders from Middletown, New Jersey, waiting for school buses to take us home. We were kids reading an epic poem to each other about Beowulf, the Scandinavian hero. And somehow, with our heads resting on our hands, looking out our windows, we became Scandinavian heroes. And we spoke only in poetry, and we'd come to the rescue of the king of the Danes. And we learned how to read a difficult poem together, and together we killed a lot of monsters. I went to school for many years after that, of course, many, many years. But I always think my education began in that room on those Fridays. And now your education is fully beginning on a much bigger stage than you've ever been on before. And we all need you to look out the windows of your world today and tomorrow. The music of the 21st century has yet to be written. Someone in your generation is going to write that music. Someone in your generation is going to perform it. And someone in your generation will be the first to hear it and be the first to be changed by it. That's what makes music possible. And it turns out that's what makes chemistry possible, and physics, and economics, and art, and life. So be ambitious for yourself today, extremely ambitious, but also be ambitious for each other. The energy of your aspirations can be a source of energy for those around you. Celebrate the possibilities of your classmates. Boldness likes company. And now I'm going to ask you to remember the exact seat you're sitting in today, the exact row and the exact chair. Place that in your mind. Log it in. It's good to remember the beginning of things, and you're at the beginning of many, many things. And as hard as it is to be imagined today, in just over 1,200 days from now, this class and this faculty and your family are going to gather again in this very hall, in this very room, for the beginning of the ceremonies of what will be your commencement weekend. And you will sit down together again as a class. And you will have in your head so many memories that you'll think you'll explode. And you'll have ideas and triumphs and defeats, and you will know each other, and you'll know all of us on this stage. And if we've done our job, and if you're brave, you will find yourself about to go to that place that needs your unique talents in a vocation that draws on your every part, in a life full of wonder and books and music and miracles large and small. And on the day of your commencement, I will read you a charge, read by the DePauw University president to every class on the day of their graduation. I would like to read that charge for you today so you know where you're going. And here it is. Young men and women, you are entering into a community entrusted with a noble inheritance. You are heirs of all that is past. Men and women of rich mind have labored, and you have now entered into their labors. Prophets and sages, scholars and scientists, poets and public servants have wrought with patience and sought truth, and the abundant fruit of their toil is now yours, is yours to use, is yours to increase, and is yours to bequeath to your successors. This university charges you to be strong, to acquit yourself with integrity, and to be loyal to your highest ideals. Whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think only on these things. On this Saturday afternoon, as we welcome you on a day that starts one of the most amazing, wonderful chapters of your life, I can tell you DePauw is true, and DePauw is in good report. And I know you are too. To this class, have no small thoughts here. Have no small dreams. And welcome to DePauw. I can't wait to meet you and to find out what you're going to do. And thank you.